Post-editing Blake here with an extension slash follow-up on Fetch the Ferret. If you might have noticed within the Sage Micro video for this game, I got to talking with the creator of this, William, for a little bit, and I have done him a disservice. Not just him, but also his project. To that, I apologize. I did know that there were a couple areas within this game. I'll be blunt on that. I did not, however, realize when I'd gotten to those areas in the first place. Such, I figure I'd mention it pretty quickly while we're actually in this specific area. Once you clear the rhythm game section, this is the first rhythm challenge. Once you clear that, and you can see it down there, approximately, you'll come out from it here, within this new area. When I was making the Sage Micro, I didn't realize that this was what would lead to the second area. I thought it was still part of the first, and technically it is-ish, but it's more of a transitory slash transition area into the second. In other words, for my series, where I have gone on record to state that I try to cover every game as completely and succinctly as possible, I inadvertently miscovered this game. And for that, I apologize. Again, this is not my intention, and as a result, I will hereby be trying to make up for it by getting to the second area, completing the second rhythm game, and yeah, giving my overall thoughts about the changes between last year and this year. Consider this a Sage Extended, so to speak. That's kind of the reason why Sage Extended exists. As a way of me saying, yeah, I'm going to be continuing at least some of the videos that I end up doing. I might not be able to continue all of them, due to various time constraints and what have you. But I'm gonna do my best at least. So to start with, this is the second area. From the time that I've explored it, and by that I mean I tried to do this, and the recording fell through for one reason or another. I blame OBS and its inability to, for whatever reason, record this game properly, without me using the display capture. What the hell? But that's neither here nor there. This area, I don't know the name of it. I'm just gonna call it the Marble Quarry. Judging by the white polished stone that's around and pristine blocks. It's a safe bet to assume that it's some type of stone similar to either marble or otherwise whetstone. Regardless, within this area there are at least a few different mechanics and gimmicks to go over. The first of which, well, other than all the markings around that definitely have to be hinting towards some type of civilization that was once in this world. Slash, still is. Who knows? There are pulleys about that are holding some stone blocks. You could see one of them from over here, actually. In some of these cases, you can gimmick with a wheel nearby in order to move it around or otherwise raise and lower the crane. You will need to do this in order to make progress within the area. Well, that and actually be decent at parkour. Because you're going to be doing a lot of ascending within this area, period. Such, it makes sense. At least from what I can gather, it's some type of mountain-ish type thing. Also, interrupting tutorial. Be careful with this tutorial. Within the recording that I unfortunately lost, I accidentally fell off the edge at one point, and unfortunately, it didn't capture. Actually, it captured right now. Respawning doesn't work. Just gonna caution on that one. For one reason or another, the death planes here do not work properly. Such, it is mentioned that there are some glitches within this game, but this is a particularly game-breaking one. Because within that spare recording, I fell for a good 5 straight minutes and nothing. If this ever happens, you have to start from the very beginning. Which means getting to the first rhythm game challenge, clearing the first rhythm game challenge, and then getting back all the way up to here. An entire experience that can take anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes at worst. And that's assuming you have a terrible sense of direction. Additionally, within the first rhythm game section, there are a couple different glitches that can occur if you're not careful. The first of which, do not pause while you're within this, because otherwise, the stage is just going to continue without you, and that can lead to you not just flipping through platforms, but also falling out of reality itself. It can also cause you to become fairly desynced from the music. Secondarily, there's a point coming up where you can jump on top of some platforms. Here, don't do that. The collision doesn't work as well as you think it might, and on top of that, it's just not the right thing to do for this particular tunnel. I can see applications in future rhythm game sections where you have to do a bunch of rapid-fire platforming on those types of platforms, but not in this first one, and definitely not in the second one either. Figure I'd give a cautionary there. Alright, we're back here. My apologies for the wait. I've had a few different issues with trying to traverse this area. Mostly due to how eye-searing the color palette is. It looks nice, yes, but it's also very difficult in the shadowed areas to properly see where platforms and also walls are. And considering how much wall riding you are going to need, or sorry, wall climbing that you're going to need to do in order to progress within this area, that's a fairly big detriment. Your objective is to get to a specific point, the top of this building that I'm approaching right now. From the starting point, you might have noticed a beacon. I'll see if I can't... There we are. That beacon right there. All the way from down there where you started. That's your hint as to where you need to go. And it is quite a trek that you need to do in order to get up here. Good luck! Once you've finished it and gotten the cube, you can keep progressing further into the quarry, where there's another gimmick. Not only will we have to move around the stone, but there are also little poles around that Fech can, well, vault off of. You may need them to cross not just certain gaps, but just traverse the terrain, period. Because this is some very uneven and rocky terrain. Additionally, here's an example of those pulley wheels that I mentioned earlier. You can usually run on those up to a point, and then once you hit that point, you can just go about your daily business. Weep. Weep. Ah, wait, wrong direction. Need to head back up there. Fortunately, you have a lot of options as to how to do your parkour. And of course I missed. Me, I happen to like using these blocks because there's just enough space that you can ascend the first block and then from the corner ascend to the second. Also, Fech on those poles. Just saying. Ferret donut! Now available in strawberry flavor. Whee! It's so fun exploring this second area. Careful. Some of the collision on some of these blocks are a little funky, but again, it is prefaced that things are a little buggy in places, so it only makes sense. Case in point. Meh. Two, three. And trying to remember where I go from here. I think I just ascend the stonework again. Only over here. There we go. Little rough, but it worked. Okay, I think it needs to go over that way. Such, in order to get there, gotta go there. And from there, we can ascend using these poles. Here. Dredge up a block. There's some creative puzzle solving that you need to do in order to make progress here. Although I have found an instance of a puzzle that might be one and done. I'll point it out when we get to it, but otherwise, know that you don't need to do it to progress. Also, little hint about a few things here. Not just about how you're supposed to progress, i.e. this icon over here, but also potentially as to the history of this place. I want to guess that the mice wanted to use some of the contraptions around here to steadily build a tower up to the heavens for one reason or another. Why precisely is beyond me? Maybe they want to, like, visit the sun or something? I don't know. But regardless, it might hint about something within the story of this game. And if not, then it's just a nice background detail, period. Seeing a little carving like that helps give life to the area. It gives it a little more place in the world, if that makes sense. Because by itself, it's enough to know that this was a quarry used by the mice for one reason or another. It gets you thinking about why they would want to use it, and it's fun. I don't know about you, but for me, it's fun to speculate little things about a story like this. Now it's just trying to figure out where I need to go again. Because, put bluntly, I get fairly lost in this area. Part of it is simply I'm glitched in terms of how I approach the puzzles here. Part of it is simply that this is just a very open-ended area where you're supposed to explore and get a good feel for your environment. And doing too much running around is detrimental to that, honestly. Okay, well, crap. That was the way to progress, but unfortunately we gotta do the loop again. Because I've noticed that once you hit the water, you still only get one wall climb, and that's it. If you fumble your wall climb, then you're not getting it back until you hit a surface. And true, you probably could just hit the bottom surface of the water. Me, I don't like doing that. And besides that, sometimes I've already used my wall jump anyway, my wall climb anyway, and it's just back to the beginning again for me. There we go. There's enough clearance for you to do all that to get over here. Oh, crap! Where does this lead me? Okay, good. I was gonna get worried there, because I'm pretty sure I went beyond the bounds. Actually, no, I can make the reference to a mobile RPG and say Beyond the Borders. Fairly good RPG. I would recommend it. A little too click-happy, but hey. What'd you expect out of a semi-idle RPG? Honestly, the main reason why I like it is specifically because of how it sets up its world. Okay, how it sets up its world and how it tells its stories, because they're fairly interesting stories, all things considered. And actually, come to think of it, Beyond the Borders is a series of games now. I think there should be like 2 titles in it. But that's neither here nor there. this spring. If you land on it, it hyperextends your jump, much like these springboards. It's a little finicky getting on top of one, but when it works really well. Whee! Coming up here is a bit of a quote-unquote maze. It's not really, specifically because a lot of the walls are blocked off. This is also a moment where you can introduce yourself to how the drift works in a controlled environment. Because there are a lot of sharp 90-degree turns, and within the second rhythm game challenge, you are going to need to be able to drift, and drift well. Once we come out of this, it should put us at about the 80% mark of the way there. If not, I'd say maybe 70. There's still quite a few different puzzles that we still need to solve, among which include more block shifting and getting stuck in the... Oh, you have got to be kidding. You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me! Also, I just want to point out, this giant spire here, you can at least climb it part of the way up. I'm really curious as to who might have put this here, and why. Because this thing goes for miles. And by miles, I mean miles. I would love to get to the top of that thing, but it's physically impossible without actually modifying game code, and I would rather not do that, you know? Not to mention, I also don't have the appropriate skill to do that. That's 3? I would also like to take the moment to point out, I've done 3 attempts already, and it's been 45 minutes. Of course, when I finally truncate this down, the numbers are going to look drastically different. She just jumped into the game, man. Also, just pointing that out, if you end up bungling one of these minigame sections, the transition has changed between this year and last year. It's a nice transition, credit where it's due. Alright, resuming where we left off. And we left off quite a ways ago. It has been, and I'm probably going to at least show little bits of those last several attempts. 5 attempts! Since I last got back here. Holy crap. And again, each and every attempt takes like 15-20 minutes. I have been at this for an hour and a half. Because again, I want to show this game its due diligence, and I made the mistake of not doing that. No deed goes unpunished. And in my case, my punishment is to be sifting sand away from my own regrets and mistakes. So usual. But hey, at least this time, there's hopefully less of a chance of these wheels glitching on me. I just need to actually take things slow and steady. jump. That was a little wonky, but I'll take it. This is forward progress. Finally. I am gonna have a painful time editing this, but I don't care. We're making progress. I still like this game. And I'm still doing everything in my power to cover the little nuances. This is Sage after all. Actually, thinking about it, we're gonna be coming up to the labyrinth soon. Which means the part where I got glitched is coming. We're finally back. There's quite a bit that needs to be done in this area in order to make progress. To start with, I don't think I took this path. I have no idea where that leads. Let's give it a couple attempts. What's the worst that could happen, right? Excellent. And this leads me over this way. Which in turn gets me where? I guess up here. If I remember correctly, the second challenge gate... Oh, right there! Perfect! That was a lot faster. Alright. Dry off your hands, me. It's time for stress. And a really catchy song. I also found out something else while I was playing through the first rhythm game over and over again. Evidently, William's been paying attention to a lot of the streamers who've been playing this game. Because there's a bonus for fidgeting in time with the music. And that's an amazing addition. This can help you get some pretty high scores for some of these challenges. Also, there are two signifiers when a drift is coming up. One, the borders of the screen will flash. Second, the walls will change from their dark blue to neon green. Take the moment to gather your nerves and get ready for your drift. Ah. What happened there? Excuse me, game? I mean, I get it. I drifted the wrong way, but that by itself. That by itself is preventing that attempt from being deleted from existence. Good so far. 2, 1. The drift takes some time to get used to in order to properly time it out. That I've noticed, at least, you can do it on rhythm. Just make sure to do it one before the beat in which you're going to actually turn. Like so. So far, so good. 2, 1. The closer you are to parallel to the lines when you do drift, the higher your point bonus will be. I've seen point bonuses go to up to 250 from those drifts, so make sure you're timing them out right. Good so far. 2, 1. Good. 2, 1. This challenge also introduces a couple of pits in places. Two, 1. 2, 1. Almost there. 2, 1, go. Try to beat that score. 6,471 on the second rhythm challenge. Now, technically, this is about where the demo ends. Or, I'd say that normally, but during that scrapped recording, I found out that technically William told us a half-truth. There are 2 mostly complete areas for people to explore, but if you go a little further past that second rhythm game, you can find at least a little bit of the third area. Just past this fence gate. Yeah, fence gate. Just past this small labyrinth of fences, we'll come across our third area, the rainforest. You'd think that this right here would be a large wall preventing you from making progress, but if you're good with your wall, if you're good with your wall run, then you can climb up the wall nearby and scale past it, allowing you to explore further. As we get closer, the rain comes in. Follow this wall over to the right, and eventually you can hit a point where you can wander around incomplete water and several platforms. I really like this music. Well, just across the board, what this game does well is storytelling using its music. The first area's theme gives you a sense of exploring a large forest. The second area is industrial trap music, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong on identifying that, such if I am, my apologies. But regardless, it helps set the scene as an area of industry, a place where things are being processed and shifted around in an orderly fashion. This third area, being a rainforest, it has a bit more of a casual shuffle step to it. It's really peaceful, and I love it. Unfortunately, there's not much to explore within this area. You can see little bits and pieces of scenery in the background, like that giant bridge over there, or honeycomb structure, what have you. But apart from that, you've pretty much seen everything that can be shown off of this third area for now. Chances are this demo will be updated again at some point, with more for this area and then some. But until then, this is what I'm gonna have to call it. Tune in next time for hopefully another Sage Extended, where I'm gonna try not to make the same mistake I made this time around, for the next time. So, with all things settled, I think it's about time I take a nap within this peaceful rainforest. Then again, I'll keep